Alright guys, welcome back to Rod Smoking Stuff. Today I have a Walmart brisket. I know that's terrible. I'm going to see if this is actually, people say don't buy meat from Walmart. It's bad, it doesn't taste good. We're going to see if we can make this Walmart brisket taste good. So stick around. We're going to pull out all the tricks, everything we can think of to make this thing taste good. See if it's worth buying one of these. It was cheaper than any other brisket. It's 16 pounds. I paid like $52 for it, which is in our area pretty cheap. So stick around. I'm going to show you how I'm going to prepare this, and we're going to get it on the Weber kettle and smoke it. Okay, so the first thing we got to do, of course, get this thing trimmed up. And I'm not going to go into this in detail because I have other videos on my channel of it. This will probably just be fast forwarded through, but if you want to see my other videos, I can put a link in the description for you on that. Just make sure you have a sharp knife. Start cutting. Alright guys, so we got this thing all trimmed up. We use 3 ingredients to season this thing with. We've got some sea salt, coarse ground black pepper, and although this doesn't look like Hardcore Carnivore, it is because I buy it in bulk, so it doesn't come with a shaker. So Hardcore Carnivore seasoning. That's your secret brisket ingredient. Trust me, it makes a wonderful bark. Alright guys, so we got this all cut up. This point end was kind of butchered. I did the best I could with it, but it is what it is. It's going to be fine. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this thing seasoned. First thing I'm going to do is open our salt, because it's not open. Well, it has been partially opened. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit of salt on here. Now I'm not going too heavy on the salt because that Hardcore Carnivore has salt in it as well. So usually I'd go 50% black pepper, 50% salt, but I kind of just go a little lighter on the salt than normal if I'm using the Hardcore Carnivore. Oh, that thing's heavy and slick. Let's get this other side salted, and we'll come back with the pepper. Okay, hands wiped off here. Alright, pepper. I like pepper on beef, so I usually put a pretty healthy coating on there, about like that. I'm gonna come in here and get these sides. Usually don't worry about the salt too much on the sides, but the pepper, gotta have that. Okay, then we'll hit this side with our Hardcore Carnivore. Now the reason I love this stuff is the bark that builds from this is unreal. It also gives it a good flavor because it's a steak seasoning, but the bark, you'll see, that comes from this Hardcore Carnivore is, I've never been able to get it to get that good bark with anything else. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this sit for about 15-20 minutes just like this, and that will get the seasoning to adhere to the meat before we start moving it around a lot. I'm going to go wash my hands. I'm going to show you how we prepare the Weber kettle for our brisket, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're going to be smoking with the snake method today. I just want to dump you healthy amount of charcoal in there. That's probably a little more than we need, maybe. Push that over that side. And we're just going to start building our snake. Just put them right against the edge here like this. Stack them all the way around. Alright guys, and that's all there is to setting it up. Now we've just got to get it lit. So we're going to take about 10 or 12 charcoals, these ones plus a few more, get them in our chimney and get them started. You know, if you're only starting a few, it's easier to do it upside down. Like that. And we'll get these started up. Find my torch. I just like to use one of these little propane torches. Makes it a little easier than trying to use paper. Alright guys, we've got our coals going here. Gonna dump these out right up here at the front. And I like to get me a pair of tongs, kind of organize these a little bit. They don't have to be perfect. This snake probably goes around just a little further than it needs to, but that's okay. It's gonna be a long smoke because we got this brisket. I went so it's 2 rows, 2 on top of them, so it's a 4-row snake there. And I got my wood. I like a lot of smoke, so that's why I got so much wood. And move this one up a little bit so that it starts smoking sooner. Smoking eyes. But anyway, that's my snake. I'm gonna get these out of the way just for ticks. Throw them on there. And I'm going to let this smoke overnight. So I'm going to put the lid on this. I'm going to let it get up to temperature. And then we'll get our brisket put on this snake. I'm going to close my vent down here in a minute. And I have a mark. I'll show you. I have a mark down on here. Wherever it is. This, so I have this mark with a Sharpie right there. That's how far I close this down with the snake. And it'll keep it about 225 to 250 degrees all night if I leave it right there. You can see that vent down there is just barely open. Probably can't see it because the ashes are in the way. Need to knock those out of the way. Anyway. Yeah, so you can see it's just barely open. You don't need a lot of air coming through there. Those are just open, just barely on those. Okay. And then we're going to leave the top vent all the way open. So I'll come back when we're ready to put this brisket on. I'm going to let this thing get up to temp. Alright guys, we've got this thing up to temperature. We're at about 225 degrees. So we're going to get our brisket put on. I'm just going to set that down there now. Bring you in a little closer. See our snake's going real good right there. It's going to start catching on to the rest of those charcoals. Grab our brisket. I'm going to put the point end over here because it's a pretty big brisket for a snake. It's going to take up this whole thing. We're going to put it down on this end as far as we can get it. Just like that. Get our probe. And we're going to stick that right here in the thickest part of the flat. Like so. We're going to put our lid back on. I'm putting the vent over here on the opposite side from the fire so that the smoke will roll over the brisket as much as possible. At least that's the theory. And then I'm just going to drop this one right in here so that I can get a heat temperature reading on the grill. And we're just going to let this smoke. If anything happens, I'll check back with you, but we're probably going to let it roll until it gets to about 180 degrees, 185. We'll wrap it up in some butcher paper with some beef tallow, and then we'll put it back on the smoker till it gets to about 203, 210, somewhere in there, wherever it probes tender. So anyway, we're going to see if we can make this Walmart brisket taste good. This is our plan of attack, and I'll let you know if it tastes good, trust me. Alright guys, this brisket has been on here all night. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's been on here for 7 hours. It's time to wrap it up. We're at 170 degrees. Our bark's set, so we're going to get it wrapped up. And then I'm going to move it over to the pellet grill just because I have to leave later today. And it's going to be more consistent than this. It's not going to get any more smoke on the pellet grill, or not on the pellet grill. It's early in the morning. It's not going to get any more smoke once I have it wrapped up. So we're going to wrap it up, put it on the pellet grill. All right, guys. It's down here. Got our Wagyu beef tallow. Put a couple good healthy pieces of that on there. Some people melt it. I just throw it on top. Seems to do the trick. The paper could have been a little longer. It's gonna be okay. Stick my heat probe in there. It'll hold that paper down until it's moist. Okay. This way, I'll be able to control this thing from my phone. If it's starting to get done, I can shut her down, let her rest, tell my wife to come out and take it off. So anyway, we're just going to let that go, and I'm going to go get back in bed. Alright guys, so I've been gone for a while. I turned the grill down while I was gone because this thing got to 200 degrees. I'm guessing it's done. I just need to probe it and make sure we're good and tender. Oh yeah, like butter. Oh yeah, she's good to go. Okay, we're gonna pull this off, and I'm gonna put it in a cooler and let it rest for about 3-4 hours until it's time to eat. Put my inside out gloves here. I'm just gonna grab it with those. You can tell it's done just by the way it feels. See how easy that moves? That fat's nice and jiggly. So you can see what I've done here. I've just put this cooler, I put my brisket in there, I wrap this towel around it. Now what I've found the towel does, it absorbs the moisture, and it keeps it from ruining your bark. It helps anyway. So we're going to let that rest, and then we'll come back and try it out. Alright guys, our brisket's been resting, and it's time for dinner. It's been resting for about 3 hours. Now this took us about it took about 12 to 13 hours to cook total. We're going to unwrap this thing, see what we got. It's looking good. All right. take a look. Look at the bark on that. That's what I'm talking about, that hardcore carnivore. You can't beat the bark. Alright. Turn this around. I'm going to try to slice it so you can see it. Remember, this is a select grade brisket. Let's see how we did. Oh yeah. Look at that smoke ring on that thing. Pull test. Pulls right apart. Let's see. Flex. Probably could be a little better. That's probably partially because it's a select brisket. The big difference is, let's taste this thing. See what it tastes like. You know, it's not bad. I'll eat that. A little bit dry, but I think that's because it's a select brisket, but there's nothing wrong with it. Tastes good. Let's check out this point end down here. I'm gonna get that sliced off. I'm just gonna slice the end of this off. I won't complain about that either. Pretty dang good. Like I say, a little drier than I'm used to, but for the price and what you get, I'd say it's doable. Anyway, I'm gonna get this sliced up, get it inside. We're gonna eat it. If you like what you see, give us a like, and we'll see you on the next one.